Hello, it's great to see you again on VTV News, live at 3 p.m. Hanoi time. I am Dai Chang with the latest updates for the hour. New Zealand Prime Minister John Key granted an exclusive interview for Vietnam television. For the first time, European Climate Diplomacy Day has kicked off in Hanoi, bringing special features to the public. And Hanoi audiences experience a cultural night from Mozambique artists. Now, this week marks the 40th year of diplomatic relations between Vietnam and New Zealand. The two countries' multifaceted cooperation was bolstered after the signing of a comprehensive partnership agreement in 2009. Vietnam-New Zealand trade turnover has reached $1 billion. New Zealand Prime Minister John Key recognized Vietnam as a country with great potential for New Zealand investors in an interview with Vietnam television.
Thank you, Your Excellency Prime Minister John Key, for answering our television program. You know that this year marks 40th anniversary of our diplomatic establishment between Vietnam and New Zealand. And how do you evaluate or make assessment about the Vietnam-New Zealand cooperation after the Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan trip to New Zealand this March?
Well, the relationship between Vietnam and New Zealand is a very strong one, and it continues to grow stronger and closer together. We have a lot of students that come to New Zealand from Vietnam. We have plenty of New Zealanders going to Vietnam for holidays and for business, going to enjoy the food and the culture and the experiences that are on offer there. And our two countries have been through a lot together. So the 40 years will be a special time. We're both members of TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, so we're hoping that we'll get that consumers access into the Japanese market, so again a very wealthy consumer base. And we know that Vietnam is a very popular place for the manufacture and production of goods.
So what about the priorities of your government when we come to work in Vietnam, and which area are the most important thing that New Zealand want to try to focus in our cooperation in the future?
New Zealand's got opportunities, I think, to sell into that consumer base for products that will go into your hotels and the likes. Particularly our meat products and dairy products are very, very strong. And we know, millions of tourists are going to Vietnam each year and wanting to buy products like lamb and beef, for instance, and our wine from your hotels and resorts. So there's great opportunities there. I think on the services side, again, IT is an area where there's considerable interest, and education, of course, on both fronts. We've got New Zealand companies that have schools established in Vietnam and plenty of students coming over here. We also see a lot of New Zealand companies basing manufacturing in Vietnam because labour rates are cheaper and the quality is high. So overall, we think there are a lot of opportunities for us to grow together. Yours is a country of over 90 million people, we're 4.5 million, but your country is getting wealthier and your consumers have more money to spend, and like the rest of Asia, we see enormous opportunities, not just in the next year or two, but in the next decade or two.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Prime Minister John Key.
Now, the first European Climate Diplomacy Day took place today at the French Embassy in Hanoi. This event was initiated and organized by the delegation of the European Union to Vietnam and 10 other member countries. What special features did this first Climate Diplomacy Day bring to the public? The Ngọc reports.
At the conference, the EU delegation to Vietnam, together with its member countries, shared their initiative and support to Vietnam. This support can enable Vietnam to run projects to mitigate and adapt to climate change. The European Union has decided to offer Vietnam €350 million in support to run a project of developing sustainable energy for the next 7 years. The project will focus on 3 areas: renewable energy development, efficient energy consumption, and easier access to electricity for remote areas in Vietnam. Through the Climate Diplomacy Day, organizers also aim to raise not only public awareness, but also practical actions towards climate change issues. In order to send a strong message, the ambassadors of participating countries chose their own way to appear. They rode a special bike to the press conference. So this is the bike that we mentioned earlier. What makes it so special? Because it's all made of bamboo, a traditional material in Vietnam. And by driving this bike to the venue of the event, the ambassador wants to send a message. A simple yet practical actions can contribute to the environmental protection efforts. In addition to the press conference, the European Climate Diplomacy Day will continue with an array of activities for the public, including film screening, seminars, and online quiz on social media with topics relating to climate issues.
We hope that the European Climate Diplomacy Day will strengthen cooperation among the EU, its member countries and Vietnam, especially in Vietnam's commitment to reducing the domestic carbon dioxide emission.
According to the French ambassador, the commitment to reducing the domestic greenhouse gas emission is one of the most important efforts that countries, including Vietnam, have to get done to pursue a successful conclusion in the United Nations Conference on Climate Change in Paris, France, this December.
Now, the Vietnam National Defense Academy has launched a training course for 21 military officers from 13 countries. This is the third course organized by the Academy to promote cooperation between Vietnam and its international partners.
This is the first time in Vietnam for Lieutenant Colonel Thien That of the Royal Thai Armed Forces. He is eager to join the training course to learn about the country, people, and Vietnamese military.
This course helps strengthen defense ties between participating countries. I will learn about the policies as well as Vietnam's defense system. I will also have a chance to learn from students from other countries.
As for Venezuelan ambassador to Vietnam, he believes that Vietnam has a long-standing tradition of defending its sovereignty, and Venezuela can benefit from its experience.
I think Venezuela, who is new in many aspects of the political situation now, we have to learn from Vietnam. And when we send here one official from Venezuela, we want that he profit and multiply your experience in my country. I think this is, in my opinion, the most important, to multiply the experience of Vietnam.
The visiting officers will learn about Vietnam's foreign policies, democracy, human rights, and Vietnam's stance in addressing conflicts at sea.
Officers from the Vietnam National Defense Academy will share all the information that they know. That way we can be transparent about our defense policies. We hope that these officers can contribute to strengthening solidarity and friendship between Vietnam and other countries.
This training reflects the commitment and cooperation between Vietnam and other countries in terms of defense training. It will contribute to strengthen military ties while underlining Vietnam's role as a reliable partner and a responsible member of the international community.
Continuing their working session this morning, National Assembly deputies gave their opinions on draft revisions to the Criminal Procedure Code. The deputies urged for measures to distinguish special investigations for complex issues related to security, human rights, and civil rights. The deputies asked who will have the authority to make decisions on the application of special investigative measures. Some suggested that these regulations should only be applied to serious crimes, such as breaching the peace, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. The draft law has 10 chapters with 75 articles, providing regulations on the scope, principles of criminal investigations and agencies, the rights and obligations of investigation agencies, and prohibited acts. The General Department of Taxation has set a goal that 90% of companies should pay taxes online by September 30th. However, given the lack of integration with banks and security issues, many experts have expressed doubts that this deadline is feasible. Currently, only 30% of companies pay taxes online at the present, with dramatic variation between provinces. The following story gives us a closer look.
The Chung Tang Company is one of 915 enterprises that have already registered for online tax payment service in the northern province of Tuyên Quang.
Previously, it took 2 or 3 accountants to pay our company taxes, but now only 1 accountant is required to complete all the procedures.
Tuyên Quang is the first province in Vietnam to achieve a 100% success rate for business paying taxes online. Achieving this target for such a mountainous province didn't prove easy.
One tax official was responsible for training 15 enterprises in completing their online tax payment procedures. Each official had to work directly with the director and accounts unit until the company was capable of paying tax online.
The northern province of Bắc Ninh is home to over 700 FDI businesses, and most of them use foreign banks, which has proved something of a headache, as Vietnam's online payment system has yet to incorporate foreign banks.
We are now working with foreign banks to figure out online tax payment mechanisms for FDI enterprises. Joint ventures and FDI companies often do transactions with many banks, so the registrations can be complicated. We will have to coordinate with banks to make sure the registration forms are sent to the right place.
Bắc Ninh province is currently surveying taxpayers. By listening to the difficulties facing companies, the province hoped to provide assistance and boost the rate of online tax payments.
Now, hospitals nationwide should set up separate wards to provide medical services to suspected cases of MERS-CoV. These wards are to prevent the spread of the virus inside hospitals, according to a health ministry official. He added that patients who showed MERS-CoV symptoms should be isolated immediately. Their medical samples will be sent to the National Institute for Hygiene and Epidemiology in Hanoi or the Pasteur Institute in Ho Chi Minh City for testing. The department will also organize 5 training courses on MERS-CoV detection, treatment and control for doctors and nurses. The department has also launched a hotline 0898-437-1919 and website www.kcb.vn to receive reports on MERS-CoV in Vietnam. So far, no MERS-CoV cases have been reported in Vietnam, but a person in Germany was confirmed died yesterday after returning from the Middle East earlier this month. For the first time, European Climate Diplomacy Day has kicked off in Hanoi, bringing special features to the public. Also in the capital city, audiences had a chance to experience a cultural night from Mozambique artists. These and more coming up. Welcome back to VTV News. Now, the Nghi Economic Zone in Central Province of Thanh Hóa is expected to become a multi-sector industrial area with a focus on petrochemical refining and support industries in the near future. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng recently signed the agreement to amend the zone's operational regulations, and the new area will concentrate on steel, host a shipyard, electricity generation, construction material production, consumer goods manufacturing, and agroforestry fishery processing. Nghi Sơn, currently spending more than 18,610 hectares, will be expanded to cover 106,000 hectares. Additional efforts will be made from now until 2025 to improve the economic zone's business climate, implement key infrastructure projects, and attract more domestic and foreign investors. Now, Vietnam's manufacturing industry has achieved a 50% localization rate and exported manufacturing products worth $13 billion. Many domestic firms have exported products to foreign markets such as Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, and the United States. And more in the following.
Workers at Lilama 18 Joint Stock Company in Dong Nai Province are working hard to meet their targets of exporting 5,000 tons of equipment and machinery to Russia, Canada, Japan, and Myanmar. The latest project that the company is working on is a deal with Argentine partners, under which they will export 50 containers of manufacturing products.
We set our goal very clearly. If we want to have loyal customers, we need to guarantee sustainability and consistency in our product's quality. We have to meet the deadline and our customers' high requirements.
Other companies in the manufacturing industries are also winning more deals with foreign partners. The key thing is to invest in human resources and machinery.
We face three big challenges in the export market. First, we need a good brand name for our products. Second, we need to join the manufacturing value chain. We do that by producing good quality products. And third is to improve our leaders' management skills. It used to be very difficult for Vietnam to export products in the mechanical industry. But now, since Vietnamese enterprises have proved their capacity and improved their skills, they have won more contracts with foreign partners, especially after Vietnam joined the WTO.
To support enterprises in the manufacturing industry, Ministries of Industries and Trade are working on the Vietnam Manufacturing Development Plan to 2020 with a vision to 2025. The goal is to finalize policies to support 8 categories in the manufacturing industries and increase the competitiveness of Vietnam's manufacturing products.
The lychee is not the only fruit benefited from exports. Vietnam has recently removed technical barriers for its agricultural products to penetrate foreign markets such as the United States, Japan, and Australia. However, to maintain the sustainable growth of agro export, farmers, enterprises, and the government need to find a more effective way to commercialize their local produce.
Lychees grown under the VietGAP standard have been exported to foreign markets such as Malaysia, Japan, and Australia. Foreseeing their great export potential, one has been successful in exporting Vietnamese lychees to 6 new markets. Malaysia is importing fruits from China. For lychees, they import about 500,000 tons, but not directly from Vietnam. When we knew about this, we immediately started to think of ways to export lychees directly to Malaysia. Besides lychees, watermelons, onions, dragon fruits, and sweet potatoes are also good Vietnamese agro products that will yield high returns for Vietnamese farmers if they are guaranteed stable markets.
We need to know the standard requirements in these export markets. We need to strengthen the supply chain and links between farmers and businesses. We also need good planning to avoid overproduction and falling price for our agro products. It is even more challenging to maintain our position and quality in their market because we are still producing at a very small scale at a household level.
The export turnover of agro products for the first quarter decreased 13%, but Vietnam will integrate further into the global market by the end of 2015. To get a strong foothold in different foreign markets, Vietnamese farmers need to change their mentality away from just focusing on quantity. They should collaborate further with enterprises to bring more added value to their products.
Now, a new Vietnam Coast Guard search and rescue patrol ship was launched on Tuesday. The vessel was constructed by Factory X51 of the General Department of Defense Industry and designed by the UK and Russia. The boat measures 63.1 meters long and is 11.9 meters wide and possesses a top speed of 25 nautical miles per hour. The boat is an important step in the modernization of the Vietnam People's Navy and will play a key role in patrolling the country's waters and providing emergency support. Now, Vietnam has made efforts to encourage greater tourist numbers, including visa exemptions for key tourism markets. The government recently agreed to a Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism proposal to further ease visa procedures in May. Thanh Tung has a story.
Pan Tower, located in the middle of Hanoi at Hoan Kiem Lake, is a symbol of Vietnamese literature. This is the first stop for this Korean couple on their summer holiday. One reason why they chose Vietnam was the simple visa procedures.
I think it's quite, convenient as a Korean without visa to come here. That means no need to spend any time, any expense to get a visa. So more Korean people come here, and then more, tour incomes.
For these Japanese tourists, visa exemption helps simplify their trip. It was way back in 2004 that Japanese and Korean first received their 15-day visa exemption. Russians enjoy the same preferential treatment from 2009. From 2004 to 2014, the number of international arrivals from these three markets increased 3.5 times, higher than the some 2.5-fold increase in total international visits.
Visa exemptions are a way of saying we are welcoming visitors. It makes things easy for them to decide to come here. When they knew that it's easy to travel to Vietnam, word on our visa procedure spread rapidly.
At the end of last May, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism proposed to exempt visas for another 9 countries considered to be key markets for Vietnam's tourist sector.
According to experts, visa procedure is considered to be one of the most important factors that tourists consider when choosing a destination for vacation. The promotion of visa exemption in Vietnam is expected to further attract foreign tourists to the country. Thanh Tung for Vietnam Television, Hanoi.
Now, for the first time, audiences in Hanoi had a chance to experience a Mozambican cultural night yesterday at the Opera House. The gala night was performed by the National Song and Dance Company from Mozambique to celebrate the 40th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two nations. Lovely reports.
Xin chào or hello in Vietnamese was how the Mozambican National Song and Dance Company greeted the Vietnamese audiences, opening the Mozambican Night in Hanoi on Tuesday. The night continued with other traditional songs from the African country about spirituality, love, and nature, introducing the unique and vivacious culture.
The music is fun and full of energy. It makes me understand some part of Mozambique culture.
It was fun, beautiful and unique. I really like it. This is the first time I have seen such performance.
The unique music of Mozambique comes from this special instrument, the timbila. It originates from the southeast of the country and is similar to the terrain, the traditional Vietnamese xylophone. The gala night is a part of the Mozambican Cultural Week in Hanoi.
The friendship between the two nations started a long time ago. Mozambique supported Vietnam during the war with America. That has laid a strong foundation for future relations in cultural exchanges, sports, and tourism in the future.
People in Mozambique, when hearing about Vietnam, they have in their mind the idea of Vietnam of the time of war. But from the Vietnamese side also, there is another prejudice, which is that when we talk of Mozambique or we talk of Africa, people think that, Africa, people may be living in the bush. So this is the prejudice that we have to eliminate in order to have more exchanges in all the forms of cooperation.
The colorful and lively performances of the artists have become the bridge to connect people of the two nations. Such activities like this will further relation between Vietnam and Mozambique in the future.
A photo exhibition opened in Ho Chi Minh City on Tuesday, offering a unique perspective on the city by veteran photographer Dân Thanh Sơn. The photo exhibited pictures taken from Sern's Vietnam Seen from Above project. The pictures include those that he took on his business trips and are all shot from a helicopter. They show different angles of the city seen from high above. The exhibition is organized by the Understand the Heart charity organization, with all proceeds set to go to disadvantaged children with heart diseases. April to June is the time for different ethnic groups in the northern part of Vietnam to plant rice on the terraces. A terrace field is considered an invaluable basket of rice for local people here. In the following story, we'll visit terraces in Bát Sát Commune, Lao Cai, Northern Province, and take a look at how the Hà Nhì people here prepare for the crop.
A terrace field is considered an invaluable basket of rice for ethnic people here. Most of the rice terraces are flooded during this season. To be able to create and cultivate on these terraces, local people have to work very hard.
The technique of building terraces is passed down from generation to generation. Building terraces is to take advantage of steep sides of the mountains and grow plants that would grow well only on level ground.
Bát Sát Commune has 280 hectares of rice planted on terraces. These terraces form a beautiful picture, attracting many tourists. However, local farmers here are having to deal with less land being available for rice cultivation.
The land reserved for rice cultivation is getting smaller and smaller, so local farmers here have to find new land and form new rice terraces. They have to travel away from home to find new land.
Rice cultivation on terrace fields has been maintained from generation to generation over hundreds of years. Each terrace field creates a beautiful picture on a hillside. Tourism might be a future option to raise the living standards for local people here, besides rice cultivation.
Now it's time to check out our weather updates. And that's all we have for now. In the meantime, do log on to vtv4.vn or our YouTube channel at VTV4Go for more news and updates. For now, goodbye from Hanoi.